You wake up on cold stone, your head is pounding. You don't remember your name, you don't remember how you got here, but something remembers you. A giant countdown suddenly appears in the sky. 100 days left. Then a deep voice echoes through the maze. Every monster already knows where you are. Every midnight the maze changes. Every 7 days, one survivor becomes a monster. Before you can process those words, a scream tears through the silence. Then it stops, completely. Your first instinct is to run. Most people would, but that's exactly how the maze claims its first victims. Imagine trying to survive in a place designed to punish every bad decision. The walls stretch higher than buildings. Thousands of tunnels disappear into darkness. Every corner could hide food or death. You quickly realize this isn't an ordinary maze, it's watching. At first, that sounds impossible. Stone walls can't watch people, right? Then you notice scratch marks moving across the walls. The maze isn't changing because of earthquakes. It's alive. You force yourself to stop running. That feels wrong. Every part of your brain screams, move, but panic burns energy. Real survival experts often say your first enemy isn't hunger, it's fear. Fear makes people forget simple things, they miss clues, they waste water. They choose the fastest path instead of the safest one. So you breathe, you listen, nothing. That silence tells you something important. The monsters aren't everywhere, they're waiting. You begin searching carefully. Inside a cracked stone room, you discover a backpack, half a bottle of water, a small flashlight, a rusty knife, not much, but enough to survive one more day. Then you notice another discovery, fresh footprints. Someone else is here. Do you follow them or avoid them? That's harder than it sounds. Another person could become your greatest ally, or lead every monster straight to you. As sunset approaches, something impossible happens. The berries growing on nearby vines crumble into dust. Food disappears after dark. Voice wasn't lying. Now you understand why so many backpacks lie abandoned. Nobody planned for tomorrow. That night you hear the first monster, heavy footsteps, slow, confident, not hunting. Searching, you switch off your flashlight, the footsteps stop. A low growl echoes through the hallway, then another sound, breathing, not yours, someone else's. The monster charges. A scream echoes through the maze. Seconds later, silence returns. You never even saw the creature, only the result. Morning arrives. You survived day one, barely. But surviving one day teaches you something far more valuable than a weapon. Every monster follows rules. The real challenge is figuring them out before they figure you out. Day 2 begins with a question. If every monster follows rules, can those rules keep you alive? Instead of wandering aimlessly, you decide to observe. One hallway is covered with deep claw marks. Another is perfectly clean. Predators usually travel the easiest path. Real animals often do the same. Lions don't waste energy chasing every target. They look for the easiest meal. Maybe these monsters aren't so different. You leave a small stone in the middle of the hallway, nothing happens, then you clap once. A massive creature explodes from the darkness. Its eyes are completely white, it crashes into the wall. It isn't looking for you, it's listening. The creature swings wildly toward the echo. You freeze. Every instinct tells you to run. Instead, you stop breathing for just a moment. The monster pauses, tilts its head. Then slowly walks away. You've just discovered your first rule. The listener hunts by sound, knowledge weighs nothing. Yet it can save your life. That afternoon, you finally meet another survivor. He raises both hands. I'm not here to fight, he whispers. His backpack is almost empty. His face looks exhausted. He introduces himself as Elias. He's been trapped here for 34 days, 34. That means survival is possible. Elias explains something even stranger. The maze changes every midnight. Not a few walls, everything, every path, every room, every safe place. Never trust yesterday's map, he says. That sounds impossible. Until midnight arrives, the ground trembles, stone grinds against stone, entire corridors slide away like giant puzzle pieces. The room where you slept no longer exists. Imagine waking up every morning in a city where every street has moved. That's what surviving here feels like. Elias isn't alone. He introduces 2 more survivors, Mara, strong, fearless. She believes every problem can be solved with force. Then there's Finn. Quiet, he avoids danger whenever possible. The 3 of them have survived by doing completely different things. Who's right, nobody knows. That uncertainty is more dangerous than any monster. Later that day, Mara spots a supply room, food, water, medical kits. She laughs. Finally, some luck. She rushes inside. Elias shouts for her to stop. Too late. The floor collapses. Steel spikes burst upward. The room wasn't a reward, it was bait. The maze doesn't just test strength, it tests patience. Many real-world mistakes happen the same way. When something looks too easy, people often stop questioning it. Scams work because they promise quick rewards. The maze uses the same trick. Hours later, the four of you continue moving. Suddenly, Finn freezes. Did you hear that? A familiar voice echoes through the tunnel. Help, please. I'm trapped. It sounds terrified. It sounds human. It sounds exactly like Mara, except Mara is standing right beside you. Nobody speaks. The voice calls again. Closer this time. Elias slowly whispers, don't answer. From the darkness, something smiles. You can't see its body, only rows of sharp teeth. You've discovered another rule. Not every human voice belongs to a human. The mimic has been waiting for someone to respond. If you had answered, you wouldn't be hearing this story anymore. The mimic doesn't attack, it waits. That's what makes it terrifying. Most predators chase. The mimic lets curiosity do the work. You back away without saying a word. The smile disappears into the darkness. Nobody breathes until the tunnel is silent again. Elias finally speaks. The maze doesn't just hunt your body, it hunts your decisions. That sentence stays with you. By day 12, you've stopped thinking like someone trapped. You've started thinking like a scientist. Every encounter becomes an experiment. You throw small stones into empty hallways. You test different light sources. You leave tiny marks on the walls. Most fail. A few reveal patterns. One monster avoids bright light. Another ignores motion unless it hears breathing. A third patrols the same corridor every morning. Patterns turn chaos into information. Information turns fear into strategy. Then something impossible happens. One morning, your wall markings are gone, not erased. Copied. Someone or something has repeated every mark farther down the corridor exactly, even your mistakes. The maze is learning. That changes everything, if the maze can learn. Then every escape trick only works once. The next challenge arrives sooner than expected. A giant stone door appears. None of you have seen it before. Above it are strange symbols. 3 circles, one is cracked. Elias goes pale. He only heard stories about this place. Nobody comes back after opening that door. Mara wants to force it open. Finn wants to leave immediately. You choose a third option, observe first. Minutes pass, nothing happens. Then you notice tiny scratches near the bottom, fresh scratches. Something huge has been entering. Not leaving, you quietly step back. Just as Mara reaches for the handle, the ground begins to shake. The door opens by itself. A massive shadow crawls across the floor, slow, silent, too silent. Then 2 glowing eyes appear, the hunter. Unlike the other monsters, it doesn't roar. It doesn't charge, it simply stares, almost as if it's studying you. No one moves. The hunter takes 1 step forward, then another. It isn't rushing. It already knows you can't outrun it. Elia's whispers don't let it choose the battlefield. You remember everything you've learned. The listener followed sound. The mimic relied on curiosity. This monster seems different. It wants control. So instead of retreating in panic, you throw your flashlight deep into another tunnel. The beam spins across the stone walls. The hunter turns its head. Just for a second, that's enough. The 4 of you sprint into a narrow passage. Behind you, the hunter doesn't chase immediately. It watches. Almost as if it's memorizing your escape. Hours later, none of you speak. Everyone is thinking the same thing. That monster wasn't hunting for food. It was collecting information. Then midnight arrives, the walls begin moving again. This time something is different, instead of creating new paths. The maze seals every route behind you. Only 1 tunnel remains open. It's leading somewhere. But is it leading you? Or leading the hunter? You don't have a choice. The only open tunnel stretches into darkness. The walls behind you grind shut. Stone crashes against stone. Going back is impossible. So the 4 of you move forward slowly, nobody speaks, even breathing feels too loud. The tunnel suddenly opens into the largest chamber you've ever seen. A forest, inside the maze, real trees, flowing water, fresh fruit hanging from branches. After nearly 3 weeks of fear, it looks like paradise. Mara smiles for the first time. We finally got lucky. Elias doesn't smile. Luck doesn't exist in this place. You notice something strange. The fruit is untouched if dozens of survivors pass through here. Why hasn't anyone eaten it? You wait. 1 minute, nothing, 2 minutes, still nothing. Then a bird lands on a branch, it pecks the fruit. Within seconds, it falls dead. The entire forest is poisoned. The maze isn't trying to starve you anymore. It's testing your patience. Real survival often rewards the people who slow down before acting. The same is true outside the maze. Many dangerous mistakes happen because people confuse opportunity with safety. As night falls, you discover ancient carvings inside a ruined stone temple. They're older than anything you've seen. The drawings show people, not monsters. People building the maze. Another carving shows survivors fighting creatures. Then something disturbing. The creatures slowly begin looking more human. The humans slowly begin looking more like monsters. The final carving shows no difference between them. Elias quietly finishes the story. The monsters weren't created here. They stayed here. Nobody answers. Because everyone is thinking the same terrifying question if the monsters were once survivors. What happens after day 100? Before anyone can speak, Finn suddenly drops his backpack. His hands are shaking, dark veins spread across his arm. His eyes flicker for a split second. Then they're normal again. I'm fine, he says, but nobody believes him. The voice from day 1 echoes inside your mind, every 7 days. One survivor becomes a monster. You count the days. Today is day 28, exactly 4 weeks. No one knows how the transformation begins. No one knows if it can be stopped. Now every decision changes. Do you protect Finn or leave him behind before it's too late? Trust has become more dangerous than any creature in the maze. That night, nobody sleeps. Every tiny movement makes someone reach for their knife. Every cough feels like a warning. Then, just before sunrise, a giant stone gate rises from the ground, unlike every other door. It's already open. Bright sunlight pours through. Fresh air fills the chamber. Beyond the gate, you can finally see the outside world, or at least, that's what the maze wants you to believe. Mara runs first. She doesn't hesitate. Weeks of fear disappear in a single sprint. "Free," she shouts. Finn follows, then Elias grabs your arm. "Wait," you stop. "What's wrong?" Elias points to the ground. There are footprints, hundreds of them. Every single set goes through the gate, not one comes back. The sunlight suddenly feels less comforting. Mara is already halfway across the field. Then she freezes. She doesn't scream. She simply stops moving. Finn calls her name, no answer. Then Mara slowly turns around. Her eyes are completely black. She smiles, not like a person, like something pretending to be one. The gate was never an exit. It was a filter. The maze wasn't trying to keep people inside. It was deciding who deserved to leave. And who would become its next hunter? Finn backs away. His hands are shaking harder now. The dark veins have spread to his neck. He looks at you. "I don't want to hurt anyone." Before anyone can respond, he runs, not away from the monsters, away from all of you. The hunter appears almost immediately. It doesn't chase, it walks, calmly, as if it already knows where Finn is going. You finally understand. The hunter never searched randomly. It always knew. It was herding survivors. Just like sheepdogs guide sheep, except the destination wasn't safety. It was selection. Elias pulls a small notebook from his backpack. Every page is covered with maps, monster patterns, escape routes, observations collected over dozens of days. "I wasn't trying to escape," he says. "I was trying to understand." He tears out the final page. On it is a simple drawing. The maze isn't a prison. It's a giant circle. Every path eventually leads to the center, and the center leads back to the beginning. The countdown wasn't measuring time. It was measuring transformation. Day 100 isn't your escape date, it's your expiration date. Everything suddenly makes sense. The changing walls, the disappearing food, the unique monsters, the fake exits. The maze has been teaching survivors how to hunt, not how to survive. A deafening roar shakes the chamber. The hunter charges. This time it isn't testing you. It's finishing the job. You remember every lesson. The listener followed sound. The mimic relied on curiosity. Bright light scared the shadow. The hunter wanted control, so you refuse to give it any. You throw your backpack into a side tunnel. The metal bottle crashes across the stone floor. The hunter turns for a split second. Elias smiles. Now, the two of you sprint toward the collapsing bridge at the center of the chamber. The hunter follows, exactly as planned. At the last second, Elias shoves you across. The bridge collapses beneath him. The hunter disappears into the darkness. So does Elias. His notebook lands beside your feet. His final lesson cost him everything. You climb out alone, fresh air, blue sky, silence, for the first time in nearly 100 days. No monsters, no screams, no moving walls. You breathe, then you look up. Across the horizon stand thousands of giant mazes. Each one has its own countdown glowing above it. Each one has new survivors waking up. You glance at your own countdown. It fades away. Relief. Then another number appears. 100 days left only this time. It's pointing toward the world outside. Maybe the maze never ended. Maybe surviving was only the entrance exam, because the deadliest monsters aren't always the ones chasing you. Sometimes they're the choices you make when survival is the only thing that matters.